all the things at the beginning of the list are going to be the most effective for red light therapy. And then as it goes down the list, it's going to be things that it does help with, but it's not as effective as the ones on the top. And then I'm going to go through 5 different case studies of people that have had issues and how they've used red light therapy specifically and what it did for them.
Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
In a world where Big Pharma writes the script, it's time to believe. Biohack. Become.
We're here to explore the truth about healing that exists outside the broken medical system, give you the knowledge, the community, and the strategies you need to become the hero of your own health story.
Your guide is a biohacking entrepreneur, a near-death survivor, and a cancer warrior, navigating his own healing journey. Founder of Biohacking Ville, Exodus Strong, and QE Strong. Your host, Rene. This is Biohacking Ville, where the medical system has failed us. One man is leading the rebellion to reclaim.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Biohacking Ville. This will be a really fun show. We've got some really important things to talk about. We've been discussing a lot of things about and the light code system. If you remember, just as a quick summary, is the light code consists of 4 pillars of really important topics. One is light, and within the light pillar is red light therapy, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. The second pillar is frequencies, so we talk a lot about frequencies. The third pillar is fuel, and talk about how the body uses fuel and uses hydrogen specifically to help. And then there's the faith pillar, that is the light code system. But today we're going to do a deep dive on red light therapy, because what I've come to find out is there's lots of questions about red light therapy. Is it snake oil? Does it work? Does it give me cancer? Right? Because there's lots of questions related to red light therapy. So we dug in and did some deep research on all of the questions that people have. And I just have come up with the top 5 that I researched. And so I wanted to dig into the top 5 questions that people have about red light therapy. I think it's really important for you to understand. And then there's some good information behind those. But then I wanted to go further, right? Why would you do red light therapy, right? That's the main thing, is what the heck does it do for you? And what are the benefits of red light therapy? So I did a deep dive and lots of research related to the benefits and or the non-benefits of red light therapy, right? Because some people will say it can do all sorts of things, and I wanted to give you the truth. And so I really did a deep dive on it. So I'm going to give you also a big list of the things where red light therapy doesn't help. But I'm also going to go through 5 specific solutions or benefits of red light therapy that have been proven, right? And that's been proven with with clinical research. So it's not just me saying it; it's real people who benefited from it. So it's going to be an exciting show from that perspective, because we're going to dig in and go through each of those. So I'm going to start off with sharing my screen. All right, so here we're going to share this, and this is going to be the red light therapy 5 myths busted and then 5 benefits proven. So that's the theme of the show today. So let's look at those.
So
I'm going to let this speak.
I mean, celebrities, athletes, all your biohacker friends, they're all talking about red light therapy. But with all that hype comes a pretty healthy dose of skepticism. So today, we're going to cut right through the noise and figure out what's real. Let's just dive right into the big one. These devices can cost hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. So the stakes are pretty high, right? Is this a legit therapeutic tool that's actually backed by science, or is it just a really expensive, overhyped gadget? Honestly, that's the most important question to ask before you even think about trying it. To get to the bottom of this, we're
Here we
going to
go.
break down the 5 biggest questions that really stop most people in their tracks. By the end of this, I promise, you are going to have the clarity you're looking for. First things first, and this is a huge one, is this stuff even safe? Because when we hear light therapy, let's be honest, our minds can jump to some pretty scary places. This is the number one fear, isn't it? We have been told our entire lives to be careful with things like tanning beds and UV radiation. So it's a completely fair question to wonder if you're about to
Whoops.
dangerous. So here's the absolute most crucial thing to
This
understand.
is very important.
Red and near-infrared light are not UV light. They're not even the same ballpark. UV light is what's called ionizing radiation, which is just a sciencey way of saying it has enough energy to literally smash into your cells and damage your DNA. Red light, it's non-ionizing. It works in a totally different way. It doesn't harm your cells, it actually stimulates them. And get this, the reality is the complete opposite of what many people worry about. Far from causing cancer, red light therapy is actually used in clinical settings to help cancer patients. It helps treat really painful side effects from chemotherapy, like oral mucositis. That just completely flips the script on the whole safety question, doesn't it? All right, so it's safe. But the next big question is, does it actually do anything? This is where the skepticism really kicks in. So let's get into the science of it all. It's so easy to look at a panel of glowing red lights and just think, come on, really? How is this any different from some cheap red flashlight I could buy online? And you're right, the market is flooded with gadgets, so it's really tough to tell the real therapeutic tools from the toys. Here is where the science gets super interesting, and it's actually pretty simple. Think of the mitochondria inside your cells as tiny little batteries. The light particles from the red light get absorbed by these tiny batteries, which kicks them into high gear to produce more ATP. And ATP is literally the energy currency for your cells. So you're basically helping to recharge your body on a cellular level, letting your cells work better and repair themselves way more efficiently. And that brings us to the key technical term you gotta know, irradiance. All this means is how much power, how much light energy is actually reaching your body. A cheap flashlight has super low irradiance, nowhere near enough to have any real effect. A real therapeutic device, on the other hand, delivers a powerful, concentrated dose of that energy. And that right there is the entire difference. So you're on board. You're convinced it's safe, you get the science, but now you're faced with this giant wall of options, which honestly can be just as paralyzing. The second you start shopping, it's like, bam, you're hit with masks for your face, these huge panels for your whole body, little handheld wands. It's a classic case of analysis paralysis. Which one is right for you? And how do you avoid spending a bunch of money on the wrong one? Let's just make this super simple. It all comes down to your main goal. If you're really focused on your skin, anti-aging, that kind of thing, a mask is an awesome hands-free choice. For bigger picture benefits, like muscle recovery or maybe some back pain, a large panel is way more efficient. And if you're trying to target one specific spot, like a sore knee, a portable wand gives you that pinpoint precision. The other piece of this puzzle is wavelength. You'll see these two numbers all over the place, 660 nanometers and 850 nanometers. The rule here is actually really easy. Red light, that's the 660, is amazing for surface level stuff like skin health and wrinkles. Near infrared, the 850, penetrates way deeper, so it's perfect for joints, muscles, and deep tissue inflammation. The good news is most quality devices will give you both. So you've picked your device, awesome. Now, how do you actually use it? Because getting the practice right is absolutely key to getting the results you're paying for. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting some overnight miracle. So this timeline is really important for setting realistic expectations. After your very first session, you might notice this temporary little glow, which is just from increased blood flow, but the real deep changes, they take time. You can often feel a reduction in inflammation within a few weeks, but those bigger changes, like more collagen and fewer wrinkles, can take a few months of consistent use. So how long do you need to stand there? Well, the general sweet spot for most of these at-home devices is somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes for each area you're treating per day. That's short enough to fit into pretty much any routine, but it's long enough to deliver that therapeutic dose of light. Finally, let's just go over the 3 golden rules so you know you're doing it right. First, and this sounds weird, but more is not better. There's this thing called the biphasic dose response, which basically means there's an optimal dose, and using it for too long can actually make it less effective. So just stick to the recommended time. Second, distance matters. For those big panels, you want to be about 6 to 12 inches away. And third, seems obvious, but the light has to actually hit your skin directly, so make sure the area is really close. We've covered a ton of ground here, breaking down all the biggest roadblocks to understanding red light therapy. So let's pull it all together. So to recap our 5 big questions. Is it safe? Yes, it's totally different from damaging UV light. Does it actually work? Yes, the science is solid. It boosts your cellular energy. Which device do you need? Just match the form, mask, panel, or wand to your personal goal. When will you see results? Be patient. They're gradual and they build on each other. And how do you use it? A consistent 10 to 20 minutes on bare skin. That's the protocol. With the science behind tech like red light therapy becoming so much clearer and more available to all of us, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We've gone from just tracking our steps to literally recharging our own cells in our living rooms. The big question now is, what's next? What's going to be the next piece of clinical grade technology that makes its way into our homes, giving us even more control over our own health?
There you go. So that's fun because that goes through the big 5 questions, and I'm actually going to go through a slide on each one of those as well. But I wanted to at least give you that background, right? There's these 5 things that everyone's concerned with. Man, is it going to, I've been told that the sun, right, is bad for you and it causes cancer. One, I want to tell you that I've done a lot of research on the sun, and I've done a lot of research on cancer, skin cancer specifically, and melanoma. And so there's lots of false information related to the sun. The sun is actually very, very healthy for you, especially the first 45 minutes of the day. Do not be afraid. That's when you want to go get that sun, because it's called blue light. And that blue light goes in to your skin and really helps with your vitamin D levels. But then there's no UV rays that first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes of the sun. So as the sun's setting and the sun is rising, it's absolutely perfect for your skin and for your body, right? Where you do get in trouble is when the sun is strong and you burn. That's the problem, is when you actually burn. That's where things start to break down. But it's very important. Even sunglasses are, interestingly enough, not healthy for you. And neither is the sun cream, right? It's the sunscreen that people put on is typically more poisonous than to not have it. So it's more important just to get out of the sun and for certain times, rather than putting on a bunch of poison on your body and thinking that it's going to protect you. So anyway, that's just a short side segue related to sun. But the awesome thing about red light, and she explained it in that explainer, is that it's different, right? Red light therapy actually works within the body and within your skin and rejuvenates the mitochondrial process. So it doesn't break it down. UV rays do. So it's just the opposite. So it's really, really beneficial to the skin and beneficial to the body is this red light. And it is important, the distance too. If you listen to that recommendation, the big panels they have, they recommend you be 6 inches away. But the mats, they recommend that you literally laying on the mat, or have the mat laying on you, and then the light will penetrate the skin better. And then most devices nowadays, at least especially the ones that we sell, have both the 660 and the 850 rays. So there's infrared and which goes in deep, right? The red light is the surface level, which is the 650, and then the 850 is the deep one, and 660 is the surface one. So that's those are super important points. But let me walk through the slides, and I'll show you the textual version of those 5 questions. So let me find this again. All right, so go back to my screens. We'll look at these 5 pillars of resistance, right? One, safe. Is it safe? We talked a little bit about that. The people are really concerned about whether it causes cancer. We talked through it. So the big important point is this UV rays and the red and near infrared, right? This is what we're talking about over here. And it's actually healing properties rather than damaging, right? So it's not ionizing and damaging the UV rays are of the sun and of tanning beds, right? Tanning beds are going to be sitting over here on this side, whereas the red light devices and the stuff that we work with are healing. So it's really, really important. And now let's talk about these glasses, because even with our devices, we include these little sunglasses, right? And they will help help from damaging the eyes. But what's really intriguing is the more research you do, red light is actually really good for the retina and for your eyes. But there's some people that are really sensitive to light, and so it can cause problems. And so to be abundance of caution, we always include these just in case. And if you don't know whether or not you're sensitive to it, then use these and then introduce your eyes to the red light very slowly and over time. Because it's interesting, you can even sun gaze. You can gaze into the sun if you train your eyes to do it. It's not as damaging as we were taught to believe. So the red light is really similar in respect that you don't have to have these devices once you've trained your eyes to it. And in fact, there is some benefit by using red light for the retina and for the eyes. So I wanted to explain that because I think it's really important. The second thing we wanted to talk about is the skepticism trap, right? Is this just snake oil, or is it just a marketing technique? And the great thing is a glorified flashlight, because this device, right, as you can see, I think you can see me as well. It looks like a flashlight, but my gosh, this thing is really super strong. And the neat thing about it is there's 3 different lights in here, and it's got the near infrared light or the infrared light as well. So it goes in deep into the skin. So you can have it here and it looks like it's really close to my skin, but it's going in an inch deep into my skin because of that near infrared. So it's really, really cool. So you want to make sure you find devices that have both red light and infrared light. That's really important in my opinion, because if you're going to do it, you might as well get the benefit of having it go inside the body as well, right? The little cheap devices that are $20, right? They don't have what you need. And the irradiance level, and we'll talk through about it a little bit, is not strong enough. So it's really not going to do you much. So I think that's important, as well as this is showing here the scattered light. The flashlight kind of goes as a spatter out. And this is the therapeutic devices, like this wand, is very close and focused. And that's why we call this the targeted device. So if you have knee pain or you have elbow pain or arthritis pain, this thing is phenomenal because it's really targeted, right? It really helps the specific area that it's working on. So highly recommend that for those particular cases. The third one, geez, there's so many devices out there, right? And we have a wand, like we talk about. We have the mask, and the mask is really cool because it has the lights, and you can put it on the face. And the beautiful thing is it really does help with the skin. And a lot of females it's been proven to help people with wrinkles as well, because it really does a good job of helping with the collagen within the skin. But then we have belts, and then we literally are coming out with a really incredible hat. Then the hat does more than just hair growth, because we'll see in the benefits in a few minutes. Hair growth is one of the really important things related to the benefits of red light therapy. However, the really amazing thing about the high-end device that we have is it's got, I think it's 1080 wavelength, and it goes really deep inside the brain. And it's really been scientifically proven to help people with some advanced cognitive issues. And some of those advanced cognitive issues are dementia and other really major Alzheimer's and other things like that, that they're doing a lot of research on these advanced devices that are really helping people. And so that's exciting, right? Because the whole reason I'm doing all of what I do is I want to help people. And so finding something that really works well and is effective is really important to me. So I want to make sure that what we're doing is really helping people, and I want to guide you in the right way. So that was the second or the third area. The fourth one is how long till I see results. And this is super, super key, right? Because everybody wants, at least I was raised as hey, I want to go to the doctor, I want to take a pill, and I want to be better. And unfortunately, these devices, they help and they work, but they're helping God's design, right? God designed this body to heal itself. And so we're giving the body what it needs. We're helping the mitochondrial process work more effectively again. And so that's what's super, super important. And that's why what we do at Exodus Strong and our light code system is we include our supplement that has molecular hydrogen in it, because the molecular hydrogen helps the ATP process as well. Helps the mitochondrial process work more efficiently. So you combine it with the red light and the blood at the stream, and the molecular hydrogen, and there's just no other combination like it. So it's pretty powerful. So we're super excited about that. But it is important for you to understand that this is not going to be 10 minutes and you're done and you're all better. But it will be more effective at the consistent use over time. So if we recommend, and if you listened closely to that explainer, there is a problem where you can actually use it too much. So you don't want to use it for 40 minutes to an hour, right? You think, oh my gosh, it's just going to be better for me, but actually it starts reducing the benefits if you do it. So that's why most of the recommendations are 10 to 20 minutes at a time per session. You can do multiple sessions per day, though. You could do the morning, afternoon, and evening. This can help do it, but you don't want to do a 60-minute session, right? Typically. And the fun thing is I'm developing a software solution that's going to help you track what you're doing, and then you can also look at what's the recommended protocol. Let's say you want to do wrinkle reduction. So what is the best protocol for wrinkle reduction? Boom, you put it in and you start following that protocol. But hey, maybe I've got chronic knee pain, right, or chronic back pain, and I need a different protocol. And so we have a software solution that's going to allow you to track that, and it has all the protocols within it. So that's another big concern that a lot of people have, is just, I don't know how to use this thing, or what to do and how to do it. And it is confusing. So we're providing a solution for that, which is pretty awesome too. And then the fifth one is how do I use it without messing it up, right? And the performance anxiety. The important thing is clothing. You can have really thin clothing, and it will penetrate the thin clothing. However, it is recommended to not have any clothing between the device and the skin. So it's better if it's bare skin, a bare face, and even a bare body. But you can, if you want to have a light covering, and it will penetrate that, but it won't penetrate as effectively and as deep as without. So we recommend not doing it. So the FAQ here says bare is best. So I think that's super important. So that really covers the top 5 questions that most people have. So I wanted to address those because I think it's super important. So let's go back and look at and have me on the main screen. So wanted to walk through those because I think that's really important. But now this is the fun part. Why are you going to do red light therapy? How is it going to help me? And hey, I have this issue. Is it going to help me with that? And so I want to give you a list of the deep research I've done on the benefits of red light therapy. I'll give you a list of things that it really helps with. And then I even sorted it by the strength of the confidence level of the benefit. So all the things at the beginning of the list are going to be the most effective for red light therapy. And then as it goes down the list, it's going to be things that it does help with, but it's not as effective as the ones on the top. And then I'm going to go through 5 different case studies of people that have had issues and how they've used red light therapy specifically and what it did for them. And I think that will help you because I did 5 totally different issues, and then we're going to dig into those. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a list of things it doesn't do, right? It doesn't help with. I think that's also really important that most people don't talk about. So with that, I'm going to go and have this explainer go again, but I'm going to go back to my screen. And the first thing I'm going to show you is this list of complete benefits. So if we look at it by strength, I listed there's 17 different things that red light therapy helps with. That's pretty incredible, right? So how many products and medical solutions or health solutions can you buy that are going to help you with 1 or 2 things, maybe, if you're lucky? The awesome thing about red light therapy is it can help with 17 different things. It's pretty incredible. So the first one it showed you was the hair growth and regrowth and thickness. So guess what? I need to start. I'm so excited. I literally have one of our advanced head devices coming tomorrow. So next time I do a show, I will have that and I'll show you, because we're including not only the red light therapy, but we have the frequency solution as well. So again, that's what is so amazing about the light code system is we have the red light, but then we have these frequency solutions, and the frequency solutions are specifically built for cognitive issues, which is really cool. And then you add the molecular hydrogen component and you look at what the molecular hydrogen component does for cognitive issues. And you add all 3 of those together, and 1 + 1 is not 3. 1 + 1 + 1 is 10, right? It really, the benefits just increase dramatically. So pretty fun stuff. But anyway, so that hair growth and thickness is a really important one. Oral mucositis prevention, that is what happens a lot of times with people when they're going through chemotherapy. And so a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you can't do red light therapy and when you have cancer. And actually, I've done a lot of research on that because it's very important topic. And I have some research on that shows that it actually is beneficial and can get it with certain red light therapy. It can actually help get rid of and destroy cancer, apoptosis, or I think that's what it's called. But it will actually destroy the cancer cells, rather than some people are saying, hold on, it's been shown in the lab when it gets in a petri dish that the cancer cells can grow and replicate. And I don't, what they've shown, that they haven't been able to prove that in the human body. So I think that's really important. And then they've actually shown the reverse in the human body. So I think that's important. But a lot of people use it for the oral component. I don't know if you noticed in that diagram that we're showing the benefits of it. It talked about oral mucositis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that effectively, but it literally uses red light and it helps with the side effect of chemotherapy. Really important. But then this is the one that I hear most often is chronic pain and inflammation relief. There are so many people. I had my podcast, instead of be called Biohacking Ville, I had a podcast for over a year called I Am Pain Free. And I did that because I have these frequency solutions that have been shown to help people with reducing their inflammation levels and or their levels of pain. At least that's their what they are telling us. And so pain has been very important to me. And I wanted to try to help people. So I literally did a podcast where I interview holistic practitioners on pain. And what I found is during that process is 50% of our seniors have some type of pain or chronic pain. And it's disheartening. Wow, that's a lot of people. And so if you can find a solution that helps reduce that, and we'll talk through the case study here in a few minutes. I think you're going to like it. We're going to talk through that. And then fibromyalgia, right? That's a specific version of a pain issue and problem that people have, as well as fatigue. And this red light therapy helps dramatically. Wound healing and tissue repair. This is super important because even in athletics, what happens when you do work out, right? You not only just for wound healing, so it does work with incredible. If you get a wound and you want to heal the wound, red light therapy is fantastic for speeding up the healing of the wound. But what's really fun from an athlete's perspective, and that's why it's used so widely, even in professional sports, in fact, even probably more so in professional sports than others, is the recovery. So when you work out, your body is breaking down the muscles, and then it strengthens, and then you break it down and you strengthen it, break it down, strengthen it. And that's how you grow muscles. That's how you get stronger. That's how you get faster. And that's how you become a better athlete. The more you can recover and recover faster, the more you can do your next workout again. And so recovery is super important. So I thought that was really, really neat. We talked about osteoarthritis and joint pain, a very common problem it helps with. The recovery and athletic performance, tendon healing. So people with Achilles problems or rotator cuff problems, carpal tunnel syndrome with your hands. And then it even goes into depression and anxiety, skin rejuvenation and collagen. That's why these things are so popular. In fact, we're coming out with a solution that has our frequency components in it. So you're getting the frequency for the skin as well as an amazing skincare solution in addition to the red light. And then you combine it with the molecular hydrogen as part of the light code system. And it's a solution that no other company in the world has. So it's pretty exciting. We're seeing lots and lots of benefits of that. Even acne reduction, really important piece as well. Helps you sleep better, cognitive and brain health. That's why we're we're coming out with this amazing hat, and I think you're gonna really, really like that. It helps with thyroid support and even neuropathy and nerve pain. So those are the 17 things, and this is literally based upon research on over 204 randomized controlled trials. So this isn't just hearsay. This is actually based upon literal scientific trials that have happened. So with that, I wanted to go through another explainer, and the explainer is going to talk about how it helps and why. And then I'll dig in and show you some specific case studies. So let's dig into that.
Explainer. Today, we are diving into a technology that seriously sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's helping real people right now. It's called red light therapy, and it is getting so much attention for its health benefits. So we're here to break down why. Think about that for a second. It sounds impossible, right? But what if you could really use light to dial down pain, make your skin look younger, and even make your brain work better? Well, that's exactly the promise of red light therapy. And in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the hype and get right to it. The 5 biggest, most researched benefits, all backed by actual science and incredible real-world stories. Let's dive in. First up, and this is a huge one, we're talking about one of the main reasons people are turning to this therapy, fighting that nagging chronic pain and inflammation, all without pills or procedures. Just listen to Maria's story. For 20 years, 2 decades, she lived with sciatica pain that she said felt like electric shocks. But after just 3 months of using red light therapy, she could walk for an hour without pain and finally got off her medication. That's not just an improvement, that's getting your life back. And look, Maria's story is incredible, but it's not just a one-off. The science is right there to back it up. A major review of studies on osteoarthritis found this staggering number,
50%.
a 50% reduction in pain. Imagine cutting your chronic pain in half. That is an absolutely massive change in someone's quality of life. So the big question is, how on earth can light do that? Well, it comes down to these little things in your body called cytokines. The easiest way to think of them is as your body's inflammation messengers. Some scream inflammation, while others whisper calm down. Red light therapy basically helps turn down the volume on the screaming ones and turn up the volume on the calming ones. It gets right to the source. Moving on to number 2. Let's talk about something I think a lot of us are curious about: skin health, and maybe even turning back the clock a little bit on aging. So let me tell you about Sarah. She was feeling like her skin was just losing its glow. But after 12 weeks, she said she felt like she'd reversed a whole decade of aging. The lines on her face were softer and her skin just felt firmer. So what's the secret here? It's all about these amazing little cells called fibroblasts. Think of them like tiny collagen factories in your skin. The problem is, as we get older, these factories get a little sleepy. Red light acts like a shot of espresso for them, waking them up and getting them to start pumping out that collagen and elastin again. And this isn't just about how Sarah felt. We can actually measure this stuff. In an important study, scientists found that after 30 sessions, people saw their skin's collagen density increase by up to 31%. That is a real physical change in the structure of the skin, and it's what leads to that firmer, healthier look. All right, all you athletes and weekend warriors out there, this next one is for you. We're talking about a total game changer when it comes to muscle recovery. This is Marcus Reynolds, an Olympic hurdler. For someone at his level, recovery is everything. He said his soreness after training went from a painful 7 out of 10 all the way down to a 2 in just 1 week. Even crazier, when he re-injured his hamstring, he was back at 90% strength in just 9 days. That's less than half the time it should have taken. And his story is totally backed by the research. Just look at this chart. A study on injured college athletes showed the group without red light therapy took, on average, over 19 days to get back on the field. The RLT group, under 10 days. They literally sliced their recovery time in more than half. That is huge. So what's the engine behind all this? It's all about a molecule called ATP. You can just think of ATP as pure cellular energy. It's the fuel in your body's gas tank. Red light therapy basically tells your mitochondria, the little power plants inside your cells, to kick it into overdrive and make way more fuel. And more fuel means faster repairs. Simple as that. We've covered skin, we've covered muscles, but this next one is where things get really fascinating. We're moving from the body all the way up to the brain. I want you to hear David's story. He's a software engineer who suffered a traumatic brain injury and was left with this debilitating brain fog for 2 whole years. But after he started getting treatment with near-infrared light, he said it was like a curtain just lifted. His memory, his clarity, it all started coming back. And the potential for mental health is just, wow, it's so promising. In one study, a remarkable 6 out of 10 patients achieved full remission from their depression. Let me say that again. Not just felt a little better, but complete remission. And this was after only 4 weeks of therapy applied through the skull. So how does this work? Well, it's about a protein called BDNF. It's got a long scientific name, but all you really need to know is that it's basically miracle grow for your brain. It helps your brain cells survive, and it encourages them to grow and form new connections. And yep, red light therapy helps your brain make more of it. All right, for our 5th and final benefit, we're looking at something that is foundational to our overall energy and wellness, our metabolic health. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Let's look at Mark's numbers. He started with a fasting glucose of 110, which is in that pre-diabetic range, not where you want to be. But after just 6 weeks of using red light therapy on his abdomen, bam, down to 92, squarely back in the healthy range. That's an incredible shift. So how in the world does light do that? Well, there's a process called lipolysis. In simple terms, the light waves seem to signal your fat cells to open the floodgates and release the fats they've been storing. That fat then gets used by your body for energy. It's pretty amazing. So let's wrap this all up. What have we really learned today? We've seen solid evidence that red light therapy can help with pain, turn back the clock on your skin, get you back in the game faster after an injury, clear up brain fog, and even help get your metabolic health back on track. It's kind of wild, isn't it? All of these powerful, diverse benefits, and they all come from the simple application of light. It really leaves you with a huge question to think about. With so many different applications, could we be looking at the future of personal medicine? Thanks so much for watching.
So that's super fun. You can go back to me. It's just to see the actual benefits is real exciting. We at the beginning, right? We listed those 17 things, and those 17 things didn't even mention the one we just talked about, the last one, which is weight loss, right? That literally will help burn fat. It's just unbelievable that you could lay there 15 minutes a day, and it's going to help your body process the stored fats that you have within the body. Wow, how does that work, right? So cool. They just explained it, which is pretty significant, right? It releases those fat cells out to the body so the body can utilize them because they're really good at hiding. So it is one good way of helping do that. So that was pretty exciting. And so we only have about 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm going to run through these other things real quick. Just there are 5 benefits that I wanted to walk through. So let me walk through those real quick as well.
Welcome to the explainer.
We already did that, but we talked about how does it work, right? The divine design. I love this perspective because I'm a faith-based person, and I believe that God created us, and I believe that the first thing He did create was light, right? Let there be light. God's first act of creation, and red light therapy harnesses that divine principle to remind the cells of their original healthy design. So we're just helping God's design, which I think is really, really cool. So light activates that mitochondrial process. It puts the spark in, and then the energy comes from the ATP production, which is the fuel that we talked about. And that's why our fuel pillar is so important. And then that leads to, guess what? Healing. Inflammation calms down and restoration begins. So I think that's super, super cool. So let's talk about those five things, right? Chronic pain. Their Maria protocol, she had really bad back pain. In her protocol, she had that sciatica problem, and she did a 20-minute sessions for 5 days a week. And it had both the 660 and the 850 red. So remember, the 660 is the red, and the 850 is the infrared. And after just a few weeks, she was able to do stuff that she had not been able to do, which is really, really cool. So pain is very, very important. And then the actual dermatological rejuvenation, right? So that what really helps with the skin. And this is why so many women are so excited about this product, is because of the collagen and production, and just the wrinkle reduction, because your skin firms up with getting good collagen in the body and helping it firm up that skin. So the quote down here is reversing what felt like 10 years of aging. That's pretty awesome, right? That was Sarah's transformation. Her protocol was 10 to 20 minutes a day. And so within 4 weeks, she felt a difference, and then a visible lift in the sagging areas just after 12 weeks. So it's just cool. And it's something that you can do at 10 to 20 minutes, right? Something you can do while you're watching TV, or right? You're reading your Bible or saying your prayers in the morning. And then the third thing is the athletic performance. Really cool. There's so many athletes that are using this that it's really exciting. My wife runs a lot, and so she uses it. And even my son, he's in his 20s, he's running half marathons, and he uses the light therapy to recover from those long runs. It's really cool. And I literally use it as well. And it's helping me recover with some of my treatments that I'm doing. And it's really exciting what it's doing for me. So, and then what I think in the explainer, it talked about it literally helps people get back from injury 50% faster. That's incredible. So it's just really, really neat what it's doing for people. And then this is a really fun one, the cognitive issues. I'm so excited about what we're bringing to the market, because it's really going to help people in a dramatic way. And it's something that you can't get anywhere else with the deep tissue component that ours has. So it has literally 3 different wavelengths, not just the 2 that we've been discussing. And then it has the frequency solution we talked about. And then you pair it with the molecular hydrogen component of our Exodus supplement that goes with it. And it's just, the benefits are just off the charts. So super duper excited about that. And then, hey, who doesn't want to lose weight, right? A lot of people do. We all could use it. And so this is pretty cool, where literally people that are pre-diabetic, this can help them. Like Mark's outcome was pretty substantial, right? Before he started using it, he was pre-diabetic, and then just by using red light, he got from being pre-diabetic to back to a normal glucose level. So just by using red light, bam, it's so exciting. And then this is the timing is important. It's not, you don't expect a solution right away. It is going to take time, but it does work. So be consistent and continue to do it. And there's lots of evidence that it's real. Like I mentioned, there's over 200 random controlled trials. And then, I don't have the last slide. The one slide I wanted to show you was, and you can come back to me, I apologize. I have one slide that talks about the things that it does not do. So let me see if I can just verbally tell you what those are, because I believe that's an important piece that I wanted to explain to you today was that. So let me go find that real quick. What does Here's the things that it does not do. So I think you can go back to my screen. What the evidence does not support, the honesty slide, right? This is important. It doesn't detoxify, right? There's zero trials that exist. A dramatic fat loss, does it do dramatic fat loss? More than likely not, right? But it will help get the thing I mentioned, the metabolic component will help you go from pre-diabetic to non, if it has a potential to do that, obviously. Doesn't boost testosterone, and it doesn't cure a chronic disease, and it doesn't do quantum healing. And so I just wanted to explain those things, because sometimes people oversell what things do, and I want to be as truthful as possible with you on everything that we talk about, because there are some benefits, some things that just is not going to help with. So with that, I don't know how much time we have. We're very, very short on time, but I wanted to explain that if you believe, and you can biohack, and then you can become, and I'm excited to have you on our next show. Remember, if you have air in your lungs today, God has a plan for your life. Believe, biohack, become.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Join the community and get the show notes at biohackingville.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at biohackingville. Until next time, believe, biohack, become.